All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first game on track 3, day 2, Big O 2016. These two people over here that are wooing got the right idea. The rest of you, feel free to join in, but there's no pressure. So you're gonna see Puget Sound Outcasts Derby facing off against Denver Roller Derby Ground Control. I am Julia Sleazer, joined here by Sassy McFly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this first bout underway. We've got the white Denver, 11 Cruz, 139 Steinbrecher, 17 Dr. Rob, 1984 is Williams, number 2 is Salvador, 31 is Burns, 36 Lenzo, 4 Stelly, 40 is Broderick, 43 Hughes, 612 is Friedman, 642 is Hedelis, 7 is Detmer, 72 Stelly, 77 Cotton, 80 Hooper, and 98 is Sparrow.
Playing today for the Puget Sound Outcast Derby, we got 14 Ryrod, 187 Big Bill, 2 Vito Ramon, 23 Quadzilla LK, 24K Nugget, 2468 Dylan Botts, 247 Chuck Hendrick, 309 Fancy Pants, 33 Arsenic, 512 Ostentatious, 55 Corporal Punishment, 56 Michael Jensen, 77 Here's Johnny, 8 Hunter, and last but not least, 90 is Mamba.
The 5-second call for today's first bout, 72 is Stelly for Denver.
55 Corporal Punishment up there in front has lead jammer status. So it gets knocked out to the outside, it's recycled back, chased through, he comes through on the inside, is through on his initial. In the meantime, Corporal Punishment gonna call that business off, picking up 4 points and drawing first blood for Puget Sound.
The second Stelly up to the line is number 4 for Denver.
And 23, of course, is Quadzilla LK.
Stelly gets hit to the inside of the track while Quadzilla gets lead jammer.
Stelly trying to bust his way through. In the meantime, coming in backwards, picking up 5 points, Quadzilla.
Denver has 1 in the box as Stelly gets to the front blue wall.
Puget Sound will soon have 1 Jensen in the box. 5 more points in the sky. It's going to turn into a power jam for Puget Sound Outcasts. Stelly 2 has picked up a track cut, and that's another 5 points.
Denver blockers trying to get a read on where Quadzilla's going, and they try to hold him back, but he gets on by. Salvador for Denver gets a cut, leaving only 3 blockers on the track. Stelly was released from the box. We've got Puget Sound at 26, Denver at 0, 27:35 left in this half. .72 Stelly back up on the line.
309 Fancy Pants. Currently donning the least fancy pants on Puget Sound, but we're not gonna hold that against him today. He's got lead jammer status. That's pretty fancy, right?
Stelly not far behind. That's probably the quickest Denver's gotten out of the pack in this half.
Looks like it's going to be a power start for Puget Sound. 72 Stelly going to the box for a low block. Mamba taking the line for the first time this morning. Currently the score, Puget Sound Outcasts 30, Denver Ground Control 2. Ooh, Mamba juking and jiving and not having anybody's business. Comes through, lead jammer status once again goes to Outcasts. The Outcasts are concentrating on their goat. In the meantime, 5 more points on the board.
Puget blockers holding back Stelly as he visits the track after being in the box, and Mamba calls it off.
(10-0) jam there in favor of Puget Sound. Right now at 42, Denver's 2.
And 43 Hughes takes on the star for Denver Ground Control.
It's going to be facing off against Corbel Punishment, who's just got lead jammer status.
Hughes is hit out of the pack, out on the sides, and is able to get his initial pass. But Corbel Punishment getting 4 points.
He's going to go ahead and call it off right as he comes back to the back of the pack. A 0-0 pass on that one, so a 4-point jam. I've been sending annoying pictures to my friend all weekend where I'm pouting no matter what I'm doing. Quadzilla LK taking the line once again for Puget Sound, facing off against 72 Stelly.
Quadzilla able to get the inside and gets lead jammer. Stelly still fighting some of those Puget Sound blockers as he gets recycled to the back in turn 1.
Quadzilla exiting the pack backwards once again. 5 more points up for Puget Sound. Still no points scored by Denver Ground Control.
Making sure that we have Big Bill's every piece of his skates as 98 Sparrow gets up to the track.
It's going to be Fancy Pants taking lead jammer status for Puget Sound. Bots successfully holding back Sparrow for quite some time and finally gets knocked out to the outside. In the meantime, Fancy Pants takes the outside, picking up another 5 points.
Fancy Pants getting another lap through the pack as Sparrow tries his last little bit to get through the blue blockers. He's fighting hard up against Nugget as Fancy Pants gets 5 more points up in the air.
Denver's got their wall ready with Hedelius there in the middle. Held back Fancy Pants for quite some time. Fancy Ben's going to go ahead and call it. Sparrow had made it through on his initial. Side by side, he called it off. It's a 24-point jam, pretty significant for the Puget Sound Outcasts. 73-2. Team timeout has been called by Denver. I don't know if you know this, Sassy, but Puget Sound is currently ranked or projected to be ranked at 5 internationally. MRDA has not actually updated their rankings since last May, but it's projected by Flat Track Stats that they're in 5th, and I think that's a pretty good projection after last year's Murder Champs. Denver ground control is projected to be about 42.
That is going to be a significant range, but luckily Denver is here up against that challenge.
No, I'm definitely loving what I'm seeing. I like to know where my seeds are. I like to know where my seeds are. And I know what point there's a pretty significant seed difference here. This is also Denver's second Big O. Last year they did fare 3-0.
All right, timeout's over, and in the whites, we've got 72 Stelly, and that's 90 Mamba in the blue. Stelly fighting hard in the front. He did get hit to the inside, but was able to get through.
Mamba knocked back. Oh, looks like it's going to turn into a power jam for Denver. A back block being called on Mamba. He's speeding his way to the box. Stelly juking and jiving, slides through. We're going to play Jammer musical chairs. Got called on a track cut.
That was the first power jam advantage for Denver. Unfortunately, Stelly going to the box. Power advantage Puget Sound, but you know that this means we will go for the full 2 minutes.
Got about 47 seconds of that left. Ooh, Roderick trying to be the last one to tag Mamba as he comes through on his initial.
All right, Stelly out of the box and in front. He's been able to put at least 4 more points up on the board. Mamba trying to call it off, but he does not remember he was put in the box.
It's a true story. If you have lead and you go to the box, you lose lead. If you don't have lead and you go to the box, you can't have lead. Fun facts.
All right.
It's early. They get more fun later in the day. Okay. It's gonna be an official timeout.
72 Stelly put back into the box. It looks like Denver disagrees. With the different penalties accrued by the Jammers, Denver's at 6 points, Puget Sound at 80 with 19-19 left in this half.
I'll say it's turning into an official review by Puget Sound. Who's blinking? Yeah, Puget Sound. One of our awesome sponsors here today is Radar Wheels. You can visit the Radar booth and register to win a free set of the all-new Radar Halo wheels. Nailed it. They're better than I just made them sound. So there's a little bit of score discrepancy that's now been fixed. Puget Sound keeping an eye on all the things, does retain their official review. So that score is going to be 80-2 with 19:19 frozen on the clock.
Thank you to our sponsor, Castle Megastore, and Eugene Cascades and Coast Sports Communication. All right, coming back from that official review, we got 72 Stelly in the box, and 55 Corporal Punishment is the only jammer on the track.
Well, if you can only have one, let it be Corporal Punishment. Lead jammer set us once again to Puget Sound Outcasts. Denver giving Corporal the what for, knocking him into the inside. He brings him back. He's trapped behind that 3-wall. In the meantime, Stelly is back in play, also having his own troubles. Ooh, definitely coming through that pack, though. It's another 5 points on the board, brought to you by Corporal Punishment. Just gonna call it off. Let's see. Called it off right as Stelly swooped through the pack, so I wasn't quite sure. That was a 0-0 pass. Hey, Sassy, guess what?
What's that?
Tonight at Blair Alley Vintage Barcade Pinball, we're gonna be playing video games, having an 80s dance party starting at 10 p.m. and there's no cover charge.
No cover charge?
No cover. My favorite number of dollars to pay for anything, 0. That is at 245 Blair Boulevard. If any of you in-house or in the area want to join us tonight, y'all at home can just think about the fun you could have had.
All right, little update on this bout. Quadzilla's gone to the box, and Stelly number 4 is out on the track as the only jammer.
Nugget and Jensen headed to the box. It looks like we've got one more. Is that Bill? Yup, Big Bill. So as full as a Puget Sound box could possibly be, with one in queue. Vito Ramon landed on Stelly, knocking him out to the outside right as he was about to pop out of the pack. Keeping control of the situation even though he's down 2 blockers. Still, Stelly finally comes out. 5 points on the board for Denver.
A number of good hits out on Quadzilla, giving Stelly a chance to rack up some points. Cruz able to stay in bounds, recycling Quadzilla.
A 1-point jam that time for the Puget Sound Outcasts. A 9-point jam for Denver Ground Control. Current score, Puget Sound Outcasts 86, Denver Ground Control 11. We've got about 16 minutes left in this half.
That was a significant increase for the Denver ground control. Hopefully they can keep that momentum. Back on the line is 72 Stelly, but it's 309 Fancy Pants who gets lead. Puget Sound's D-Bots is out to the penalty box. Fancy Pants still lead, and Stelly, having gone through his first scoring pass, gets 0. All right, 43 is Hughes, and we've got 90 as lead. Mamba, once again, for Puget Sound.
Mamba flying through a cataclysmic pack. Hughes, in the meantime, still trying to get through as the pack speeds away. Nugget headed to the box once again, giving pack advantage to Denver.
Mamba hit to the outside of the track. Hughes just staying inside. Lots of tricky backward skating going on.
Jensen all by himself, holding Hughes back as long as he can. Finally has to let him go. Hughes walks away with 4 points for Denver.
Some nice D being held back for Mamba. Mamba calls it off after getting 3 more on the board. That puts us Denver at 15, Puget Sound at 95, and it's 13-20 in this half.
Just as you say, that's when the score changes. That is the curse of the announcer.
Always.
So it's an 8-4 jam, 98 to 50. Ooh. Time machines. I blame time machines. An 8-0 jam. 98 to 11 in favor of Puget Sound Outcasts. I don't know what happened, so I can't help you. I'm sorry.
That's 72 Stelly on the inside, getting lead for Denver. Corporal Punishment not far behind and in front of Stelly. Stelly going for the jump, gets hit midair. Tries to crawl to the inside, but gets a cut.
So a no pass, no penalty. Gets Corporal Punishment 4 points instead of 5.
Five more points for Corporal Punishment.
This power play is already racking them up. 9 points already in. Corporal popping through, meeting up with that Denver wall. They're waterfalling to keep him back. He gets knocked out to the outside and he's going to have to come back behind Detmer. That power play had ended. Stelly was back in play. Got called on a track cut. Denver's got their defenses up. This Corporal Punishment comes in. Idilius et al. Keeping his back. As the pack speeds up, I think that was the natural conclusion of the jam. 2 points were picked up by Denver ground control. We're going to have an official timeout. Right now, we are at 117-13 in favor of Puget Sound Outcasts. Both of these teams have a tournament coming up in June that sadly will not be streamed, but if you're in the St. Louis area or you love driving or flying, you can see Denver and Puget Sound Outcasts at Sibling Rivalry in St. Louis, hosted by the St. Louis Gatekeepers and arch rival Roller Derby.
And just to shout out to some of our sponsors and vendors, we've got Hit This Derby gear, Derby owned and operated. Before you hit the track, hit this. Visit the store in Salem, Oregon, or online at hitthisderbygear.com.
If you're interested in interacting with us on social media, I'd like to point out the hashtag for this year is #, Big O 2016. Yeah, I just showed my age. What? Also, we've got hashtag Big O Cats and hashtag Big O Dogs. For those of you at home, I did not make this up. I've been accused twice, 2 years in a row, of making up those hashtags. Just tweet me pictures of your cats. I ask for so little. Kudos and thanks to the Big O Tech team for making the magic happen behind the scenes. A special call out to Izzy, Jake, Grimes, Bernard, and Ryan for being super rad. That's what my sheet says.
And some of the things that you need to remember is that there's no skates in the lobby. They are all protective gear must be worn if you're on skates, and you cannot skate in the lobby except on the mats leading to the bathroom. And make sure you've got your wristband on at all times. Crowd control volunteers do have a job to do to check them every time you come through the door. So wear it loud and wear it proud. Over at Denver and Puget Sound, the official review still going on.
That's Denver's official review. Hopefully we'll have some insight on that soon. Thanks to all the photographers contributing their time and talent to the Big O shoot. Special thanks to Steve Sharkey Mancini, who organized the talented crew that includes Seattle's beautiful Disruptive. Swoopy whistle can only mean one thing, and that thing is action's about to happen. I guess it could also mean halftime, but it doesn't in this instance. It's all good.
All right, back to the action. We have Bots wearing the Puget Sound star, and he becomes lead jammer.
Currently on the power play, spinning right through that pack. Such grace and beauty. 5 more points for Puget Sound Outcasts. Just comes in, just launches his body full in. There's no real time to stop him. Another 4 points on the board for Puget Sound in a matter of seconds.
Nice big hit on Bots from Broderick.
Denver has formed a wall bots cannot quite get through. Just gonna wait for Stelly to come to the heartbreaker zone before he calls it off.
All right, we're
It's a 12-point jam for bots. Bringing Puget Sound up to 129. Denver ground control at 13. About 9.5 minutes left in this half.
Up on the line for the Puget Sound, 309 Fancy Pants up against 89 Sparrow. Advantage Puget Sound with one Denver blocker in the box, but Sparrow finds an out on the outside, literally hitting the crash zone and gets lead jammer.
Did you see that hit from Detmer? Fancy Pants was almost through the pack. Detmer just knocks him. Blam. That's how you do that. 4 points on the board for ground control.
All right, back on the line is 90 Mambo up against 43 Hughes.
One Denver blocker in the what? It's going to turn into a power jam for Hughes. Mamba sent to the box for a back block.
Hughes getting hit out on turn 2.
He's getting knocked out to the outside again. We're stuck around turn 2, recycled back behind Jensen. Got a Jensen bots attack squad. Jensen following him all the way out, knocking him out to the outside, turning into 2 8-track cuts. So it's now powder jam for Puget Sound. And now it's jammer musical chairs as Mamba goes to the box for the enigmatic forearm. But since it went jammer in, jammer out, I think there's a little bit of a delay in release. Don't worry. Things will happen soon. We won't leave you hanging. Puget Sound ready for Hughes. Ready to let Mamba through on the outside. That was his initial.
Some serious man-on-man action here in turn 4. Lots of falling, lots of aggression.
That's a loud, scary sounding falling. Why? Mamba jumping the apex from like the middle. He's got no time for apexes.
If you're gonna jump the apex, you might as well just jump the track.
Right, yeah. Just jump the arc. It's not even the apex, it's a sixth of the track. Just gone.
With some of those big hits that we were seeing, just a reminder, we really appreciate all the ENTs that are out tonight.
Oh, yeah.
All day, actually, and all weekend.
Detmer taking the line for the first time today for ground control. Corporal Punishment taking the line for 77th time today. Estimated number. It's going to turn to a power jam for Puget Sound. Detmer is being sent to the box for a track cut.
All right.
Idelius following Corporal Punishment out as he lands in forearm, headed to the box.
Detmer back on the track and fighting his way through, looking for opportunities on the inside. And he's through.
That is his initial. Hendrick trying to make a hole for corporal punishment to come through. Incidentally lands himself a penalty. Incidentally, corporal punishment picks up another 5 points.
Ryrod and Nugget holding back Detmer.
Detmer landing another track cut. So corporal punishment on another 30-second power play. 5 more points on the board. Gonna go ahead and finish that up, locking Detmer in the box as the jammer. 4 points picked up that last pass by ground control. 5 points picked up by the Outcasts. Bringing them up 148 to 21, about 3:40 left in this half. Rydell skates, unmatched quality, unmatched performance.
And Quadzilla gets Lee Jammer as he jumps through the inside.
Finds a hole on the inside, pops on through. 5 more points for Puget Sound. Ooh, little rough and tumble there for Quadzilla. Pulls a track cut there. He's going to be headed to the box. Turns into a power jam for Detmer, and we're also going to do that full 2 minutes, of which we have about 1:18 left.
Detmer gets hit to the outside. He gets recycled back and actually gets a penalty.
Those track cuts, they'll ruin your day. It's a little jammer switcheroo there. So Detmer will be sitting for less than 20, as Quadzilla had not stood yet. Back in playing, juking and jiving. Quadzilla hung up on Denver's defense as he finally gets past Salvador, bringing 5 more points to the board.
Quadzilla hit to the inside as Detmer's trying to find an opening on the out. Trying to avoid a track cut. He turns around on his skate, but it works out for him. He just goes to the back of the pack. Jam comes to an end. We want to make sure that all the scores are up before we say anything.
The minute you say it's going to change. A 13-point jam for the Puget Sound Outcasts, bringing them to 161. Denver ground control still sitting at 21. Got Fancy Pants out on the line, taking on Sparrow.
Sparrow having scored the most points for Denver today, at least in one jam. Big hit by Headless on Fancy Pants and some falls happening in turn 3. Fancy Pants taking the inside. He's through for 5 in the sky.
Sparrow trying to bust through some pretty serious defense right now. Ryrod and Big Bill successfully holding him back along with Chuck. He is through on his initial. But the amount of work, so significant. But it's going to turn into a power jam for Sparrow. Fancy Pants having a seat in the box for Chuck Cuttery. He's not alone, though. Here's Johnny and Ryrod there to hang out. I like to think the box is just where you go to socialize. Not sure on that.
Depends on why you went. Sparrow trying to use Wagner to help him get past the Puget Sound blocker.
Looks like this jam has been called for injury.
I'm Trish the Dish, and this is Ivana Spankin, and we're here to tell you about Sin City Skates. Sin City Skates began in our Las Vegas living room in 2005, the first shop ever dedicated to roller derby, and has since grown into this 2,000 square foot mecca in San Diego, where we stock everything for our sport. Need help? With a combined on-track experience of over 24 years and still playing, we test everything we sell, and we're happy to share that experience and knowledge with you. So contact us, sincitysskates.com.
Hi folks, Scald Eagle here. Have you had a chance to take a look at the new Bonk Quadstar skate? The boots are ultra lightweight with no break-in period and are great for skaters with skinnier ankles. They also have a 100% Australian full-grain leather outer and a completely heat-moldable hand-laid fiberglass base. Get that premium performance without the premium price tag. Boom. Come over to the Bonk booth right now and check out this rad new skate.
A clear path through the pack almost never exists. So we fight and make our own.
Roller Derby Athletics takes the guesswork out of off-skate training, helping you become safe, strong, and unstoppable. Here's what skaters from around the world are saying.
Lots of great advice and things that helped me after I broke my ankle and had
I've lost 90 pounds and discovered my A game.
Love that site and the
workouts.
rehab has been amazing. It's really worth the investment in her
Booty
programs.
Quake rocks. You won't regret the investment.
Want to see for yourself? Sign up today for our free Basics Builder program and transform your game with Roller Derby Athletics.
A lot of very impressive people in roller derby.
This was definitely a proud moment for me, wearing the black, white, and red.
I care about this thing more than I care about any other article of clothing in my wardrobe.
This represents to me like 7 years of blood, sweat, and tears.
Glitter is fun and hardcore. I've learned that it's hardcore.
My uniform is always in pristine condition.
My truck is purple, my shoes are purple, my underwear are purple.
It takes a lot of drive and a lot of passion to keep going in roller derby.
Sometimes when you play roller derby, you're just kind of like, why am I doing this? This is so weird.
I just can't imagine that I'd get more kicks like playing golf than I do hitting a you know? Feels good.
My name is Rachel Rotten.
My name is Midge Wilhelm.
I'm Fifi Nomenon.
I'm Jackie Daniels.
My name's Steph Maney.
Hi, I'm Scald Eagle.
And S1.
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 And S1 is part of my uniform.
The Arius Platinum is packed with new features. Reinforced toe section. Increased toe stop clamping power. Winged truck with split cushion design for easy assembly and installation. The new Arius Platinum, performance redefined.
Hey, this is Dan from S1 Helmets. We're in the testing lab today, testing helmets to see if they pass the Multiple Impact Certification Test. We're going to be testing 3 helmets today. There's a soft foam helmet with EVA foam and a terry cloth liner. There's a hockey helmet with triple density EVA foam. The S1 Lifer helmet with EPS Fusion foam. All 3 of these helmets are marketed as multiple impact helmets. We're going to test all of them today and see which ones actually pass the test. The multiple impact test is when we drop a helmet to achieve a velocity of 4.57 meters per second. This simulates a 10-mile-an-hour impact or a 4-foot drop. The same helmet is tested 3 times in the same location. The helmet must reduce the energy pulse to under 300 Gs each time. Anything over 300 Gs can result in a traumatic brain injury or a severe concussion. In summary, the soft foam helmet with EVA foam and the hockey helmet with triple density foam did not pass the multiple impact test. The S1 Lifer helmet with EPS Fusion foam did pass the multiple impact test.
At Roller Derby Athletics, we take the guesswork out of off-skate training so you can focus on being fierce. We help you transform your game without a lot of time or equipment. With 5 training programs plus all-star memberships, there's an option to suit every athlete. And we train skaters worldwide with high-quality video instruction and online support. At Roller Derby Athletics, we empower you to be safe, strong, and unstoppable. Want to see for yourself? Sign up today for our free Basics Builder program.
Hi, Ivana Spankin and Trish the Dish here to tell you about Sin City Skates. Sin City Skates began in our living room in 2005 and has since grown into this 2,000 square foot warehouse and showroom where we stock everything for derby. If it's derby related, we probably have it. Need help? With a combined on-track derby experience of over 24 years and still playing, we test everything we sell and we know the difference between facts and our opinions. We're always happy to share both with you to help you make the right decisions. So call us, SinCitySkates.com.
I love teamwork when it comes naturally, and it's almost like your teammate is an extension of your own body. That anticipation, where you've worked cerebrally through strategy and skills, and suddenly you're out there in a game and it all comes naturally because you know each other. I love that.
We are literally seconds away from the second half of the awesome first game, the second day on track 3, Puget Sound Outcasts versus Denver Ground Control. Out of curiosity, who is here for Puget Sound Outcasts? All right. Who's here for Ground Control? I will give the Outcast fans one more chance. Who is here for Puget Sound Outcasts? Oh, wow. Well, there you have it.
All right, we're starting off this half. We've got Hughes taking on Denver Star up against Mamba.
Coming back in fast and furious in this second half. Got this pack sped up, Detmer up in front, trying to avoid those points. Hughes, ooh, narrowly knocked out by Jensen. He's gonna have to come back to the back. In the meantime, Mamba, lead jammer.
Mamba was going for the inside. He took the outer part of the track and finds himself against some white blockers, but he's through for 5.
Hendrick laying in wait. Ooh, Mamba getting aggressive, coming back through, taking on Wagner as he does so. Wagner again, his last line of defense to pass. He's gonna go ahead and call it off. 15. Okay, cool. 15-point jam for Puget Sound Outcasts. Or it's like the nod from the jam ref, like, yeah, you got it. You can numbers too. Brings him up 186, Denver Ground Control 26. Been told by secret sources that right now, Denver is beating the projected point spread.
All right. Matchup from before, Stelly and Corporal Punishment.
Corporal Punishment coming back through, another 5 points on the board for Puget Sound Outcasts.
Stelly made sure he avoided a cutting of the track. He's back in it and looking for that out. He's down, but he can get up and go.
Yep. There's no bettering your position if no one's in front of you. Just pop right up. It's all good. Meantime, Boss is going to take a seat in the box, taking Puget Sound down 1 blocker. Got that 5-second call. Quadzilla LK taking the line against Sparrow. Woo! Quadzilla ready to rumble. Knocks Sparrow out. Jensen recycles him back. Hendrick and Hunter waiting for him. It's I'm gonna call it a tough row to hoe, if you know what I'm saying. Quadzilla is through lead jammer status, goes to the Puget Sound Outcasts. In the meantime, Sparrow knocked out to the outside, is gonna have to come back behind Chuck. Quadzilla spinning around these skaters, coming through. Another 5 points for Puget Sound Outcasts. Sparrow working himself to the bone, getting past the Jensen Bots duo. Gets knocked out to the outside and is gonna have to come on back. Quadzilla lastly passing Wagner. Picking up another 5 points. Dilly headed to the box for a balking counter to play. Woof. The sound of the bodies hitting the ground just horrifies me. They bounce right back up though. It can't be that bad, right? Quadzilla facing off against three defensive players from Denver. In the meantime, Chuck landed some huge hits on Sparrow.
Sparrow fighting the pack almost literally as he is getting pulled back and hit down.
Sparrow with star in hand, standing in the back, looking at Hendrick, thinking, just thinking. That jam ends. 20-point jam for Puget Sound Outcasts, a 0-point jam for Denver ground control, but not for lack of trying.
Definite effort given by Sparrow. They're going to send out Stelly, version 72, up against Fancy Pants.
The elder Stelly. Stelly Major. Lead jammer status goes to Denver ground control. And the crowd goes wild.
Both jammers are out. Stelly getting some points on the board.
5 points on the board. Matched by Fancy Pants 4. .72 bringing 4 more points to it. Ooh, finding a way on in the inside, 4 more points again. Already a 13-point jam for Denver ground control. Stelly Major is really bringing it this time.
Broderick recycling Fancy Pants.
Rod Nugget trying to hold Stelly back. He spins around on one skate. Such grace, such beauty, such 4 points.
And it looks like Fancy Pants is going to the box.
It's a power jam to Stelly. Gets knocked into the inside. It looks like a little bit of wind knockage may have occurred. Comes back in a bit slow. Pack all but stopped. Broderick trying to help Stelly get through. That is the end of the jam. 3 points were picked up by Puget Sound Outcasts. Another 5 points for Denver ground control. I'll hold and make sure. I'm gonna sit on it for a second. An 11 to 22 point jam, a 22 point jam. The most significant jam so far for Denver ground control brings them up to 48 to Puget Sound's 231.
Trying to maintain that momentum following the half. 43 Hughes is the only jammer on the track. He does a nice tumble through the turn as he's hit out. He stays in bounds and eventually up.
Did not get lead jammer due to a no pass, no penalty. Lead jammer is awarded to Fancy Pants, who had re-entered play. Calls it off right as Hughes gets to the pack. 0-0 on that pass. / jam. The whole thing.
Hughes with the fanciest way I've ever seen someone take off a helmet cover.
Stelly the younger out there now jamming for ground control. Mamba for Puget Sound Outcasts has lead jammer status.
Mamba calling off the jam. After getting 9 points on the board, making sure that there's no more here.
Hughes out there for ground control, corporal punishment. Going immediately to the box. Didn't see the call, but it's power jam for Denver. Jensen following him all the way out. Lead jammer does go to Hughes. Penalty, I assume, for blocking out a play goes to Jensen.
Hughes gets the inside of the track. 5 more points for the Denver ground control.
Corporal punishment leaping over the legs and getting on through on his initial. That jam is called. 0-5 in favor of Denver ground control brings them up to 53. Puget Sound Outcasts still sitting on 240, about 18.5-ish minutes left in this game.
All right, it's Stelly up against Quadzilla.
Boom. Right out of the pack. Not even thinking about it.
And it looked like a quick star pass. One I almost didn't even see. Quadzilla to Ryrod.
Ryrod picking up 4 points. Stelly also picking up 4 points. Ryrod mowing in with the ferocity he is known for. Picking up 3 points, got some no pass, no penalty non-points going on there. Ryrod is swinging to the back. It's gonna be Stelly calling off. 3 points, picks up that pass by Stelly. 4 points on his last pass, or last scoring pass. So an 11-7. Puget Sound Outcast 251. Denver ground control 60.
We have 16:55 in this half. Anything can happen in roller derby, as I always say.
You can check that off your announcer bingo card. Let me throw in and it's anyone's game. Once you get bingo, hit me up.
All right, Lenzo is recycled to the back as Fancy Pants gets on through. He's got 5 in the sky.
Lenzo taking a hard hit from Nugget into the inside. Doesn't have to recycle terribly far back. In the meantime, Fancy Pants taking up another 5 points. It's going to turn into a power jam for Puget Sound. A forearm being assessed to Lenzo.
Fancy Pants finding the inside. Looking to his bench to know what to do. And he calls it. This means that Puget Sound, sending out Mamba, will be starting on a power start.
Lenzo frozen in the box, like so many Han Solo.
The whistle's blown and the blockers are touching.
Nagamama out to the outside. He's going to come back in front of his own teammates. All good. Everything's all right so far. Lee Jammer goes to Mamba. This power play is over. And it's going to turn into a different power play. So here's power play 2. And then, okay, what's going to happen is a third different power play is going to happen. So Lenzo went to the box for a track cut. Mama now going to the box for a back block. So a few seconds of power play coming up for Denver.
Lenzo deciding which way he's going to enter the pack. He chooses behind turn 3.
Yeah, you don't want to go the long way. Ryrod and Jensen holding him back. All right. Threw on his initial. I wasn't quite sure right there.
All right, Denver losing Broderick to the box as well. Lenzo's still the only jammer on the track. He gets 5.
Well, you may have noticed Mamba back in play. Picking up 5 points as he sweeps through. Guess what? We're going to end with Lenzo going to the box. So starting off on a power play, if you were keeping count there, that was 4 trips to the box between the 2 jammers in 1 jam.
There's a lot of power dynamics happening in this bout. We're at Denver 65, Puget Sound 271 with 12:48 left. And it looks like Denver's calling a timeout.
So we'd like to thank some of the awesome vendors that are out here today. In case you want to peruse their stands and what have you. We got Adam Bont, Bruce Skate News, Castle Mega Store, am I right? Durbalife, Fast Girl Skates, Fingers Duke, which was the first 3 shirts I've bought in years that didn't say something about Derby on them. They're 3 for $50. I'm just saying, they're pretty rad. Flat Track Revolution, Green Monster, Hit This Derby Gear, Living Colored Duct Tape, Left Turn Clothing, Moda Skates, Rydell, S1 Helmet Company, Steel Web, Superfit Hero, and Trixie Be True. All that and more. In case you have money, but want stuff.
Nailed it. Good day.
I think we're about to see some awesome MRDA action in just a few seconds, right? I'll pretend you all were with me on that one. Yay, said the crowd.
Capital punishment, wearing the star for Puget Sound.
Corporal punishment trying to swing his way through. The younger Stelly not interested in it. It follows him through, but it looks like he also is assessed a penalty at the same time. Good tries all around.
Lenzo pushing hard up against the Puget Sound blockers in the back of the pack. Corporal punishment seeking the back of the pack for some more points.
So that has been a successful star pass to Broderick. Corporal punishment calling it off right at the end. Dancing a bit with Lenzo. So there's a 13-point jam for Puget Sound Outcasts. That score differential getting ever wider, 284 to 65. 11 and a half left in this game.
Steely doing a little jump around, but Quadzilla's in front. Both jammers having to work hard against these blockers. Some good footwork by Steely. Quadzilla's in the box, so if you're here for Puget Sound, let him know it.
If you're here for Denver ground control, let me know it. Oh. It's going to turn into a power jam for Puget Sound Outcasts. A high block being assessed to Stelly 72. It's going to be nearly the whole 30 seconds, even though there was the jammer switch. Quad was standing in the box. Comes in fiercely, but Denver answers just as fiercely. He's having a bit of trouble getting through their defenses. Idelius, the last one he has to pass. That is 5 more in the sky for Puget Sound Outcasts.
Quadzilla making sure that his helmet cover is on nice and tight to make sure he gets all those points.
This is no time for breakdancing, sir. Stelly back in play, mowing through. Lastly, getting past, here's Johnny. He did pick up 4 points for ground control, answered by Puget Sound Sport points, a 9-8 jam, 293 to 73. The clock winding down, we're right at 9 minutes.
Hughes and Fancy Pants to the line. They shook hands beforehand. It's always nice to see that nice sportsmanship behavior, especially in a long tournament such as this. It's Fancy Pants out there skating for Puget Sound. He is lead jammer.
Picks up 5 points, and it's going to turn into a power play for Puget Sound. Ground control getting called off for a track cut.
Fancy pants through one more time. 5 in the sky as Hughes is still sitting on the bench in the penalty box.
Oh, Denver has their defense set up front with one blocker knocking around Mr. Fancy Pants back there with some success. Oh, and until the penalty's called. It was good for a minute. 5 points picked up that last pass for Puget Sound Outcasts. A 20-point jam, bringing them up over the tricentennial mark. 313-74.
All right, that's Mamba and Stelly, 72. Denver has one blocker in the penalty box, but both teams are holding back the jammer pretty gosh darn well.
It's going to be Stelly 72, lead jammer status goes to ground control. Oh, Mamba's coming for it though. Oh, knocks himself into the inside. Just a little bounce off. Stelly's gonna see what he can do. Also comes into the inside, calls it off from there. What did we get? 1 point Puget Sound, 3 points ground control. Whoop, 2 points Puget Sound, 3 points ground control.
All right, 5:55 left in this matchup. Hughes and Corporal Punishment wearing the stars.
Corporal Punishment zinging through. Lead jammer status goes to Puget Sound. Another 5 points on the board. In the meantime, Hughes getting knocked around like a pinball. Hendrick, never one to give up position. Knocks him out to the outside and is going to recycle him as far back. Always on the verge of getting that autoplay warning of it. Corporal Punishment mowing his way through. Another 5 points. Ooh, Salvador knocking down Corporal. Comes through the pack one more time.
Corporal Punishment making good use of this track.
Broderick laying him out. He's going to call her from the ground. Team timeout is being called by Puget Sound.
This gives us a moment to let you know about Wild Duck Cafe. Visit them for fresh-made sandwiches, salads, snacks, coffee, as well as your favorite beverage. They're located in the lobby grill for traditional burgers, fries, and hot dogs. New this year is buffalo tempeh wraps and fish tacos. Well, that's what we like in Oregon.
This weekend only, Flat Mat Yoga will give you 16% off online if you use the code BIGO16. If you think you don't like yoga, you might be wrong. Flat Mat Yoga might change your mind. Yoga for your roller derby body, schedule, and budget. Want to skate stronger, harder, and with less pain? Time to get on the yoga mat with Flat Mat. Oh, I heard the swoopy whistle. My favorite of the whistles. Got an empty penalty box. We've got Stelly 4, and we've got Quadzilla LK. Stelly 4 coming through. Lead jammer status goes to Denver Ground Control.
Quadzilla looking for an in through the pack, but not able to find one just yet.
Gets knocked out to the outside. He's going to come back not terribly far. It's like Wagner's started up a wall, but Arsenic is there to help break it up along with Jensen.
Quadzilla having made his initial pass through the pack. Stelly getting another 4 points and calls it off.
A 9-point jam for Denver Ground Control. 340 to 86. We're getting down to that 3-ish minute mark.
Some nice chanting in the crowd for Denver. We have 72 Stelly up against Fancy Pants. And a quick opening for Fancy Pants, and he is through. Five for Fancy Pants. Stelly having done his initial pass. Fancy Pants calls it off after getting 1 point that round. Denver Ground Control at 86, Puget Sound Outcasts at 346. We've got 2:12 left in this matchup.
To point out, it ends up my friend in Scotland has finished his announcer bingo card. We did it. Congratulations to Smacklemore. You win a Skype call from me.
Mamba starting with a long stretch of a beginning, gets cut to the inside. And Hughes goes to the penalty box. Mamba finally makes it through and gets lead jammer. Mamba with a little bit of too much oomph on that one, gets a back block. He goes to the box. So we're gonna have a little bit of a trade in power. Hughes, the only jammer on the track. Hughes through, ready to get some more points, looking for some help from Wagner.
Low block being assessed to Mama. It's going to turn to a power jam here.
I have never seen the time clock and the jam clock completely in sync, but here it is.
I was going to say something a second ago, but now there's no way to call it off. This is just going to happen.
Hughes looking at the clock saying,
right on, man. It's all good. It's all good. Our unofficial final, Puget Sound Outcasts 346, Denver Ground Control 90. Let's hear it for all of these gentlemen. Put their blood and guts out here for your own entertainment. That is now the official final, 346 to 90. I'm gonna leave you with that. Next up on this track is Rose City B Team versus Denver's B Team. So stay tuned to this track. Feel free to surf the other tracks. You do what you want, but I am Julia Sleazer. She's Sassy McFly. Thank you so much for joining us.